What's up, fellas? Say it with me now. I'd rather be milling. Anyway, unfortunately today, that's not happening. Radiant. Again. I just put the manifold up. This hodgepodge of a mess needs to get cleaned up and landed. Everything is supplied by the one and only supplyhouse.com. Better prices than the local supply houses, and it was just easier. You know, going into those supply houses can be a little intimidating sometimes. There's one in particular, the guys are so high strung. It's kind of like the soup guy, the soup Nazi from Seinfeld.
No soup for you! Come back 1 year!
These I thought were pretty cool. Danny put me onto these. You know, it's a shut off, right? And then you can vent from here. If you can see, there's another shut off here, so pretty cool. Yeah, these are pretty pricey. I think they were like $14 a piece, $20 a piece, something like that. You know, kind of hurt because I have to buy 14 of them. So you need one going in, and you need one going out. That was kind of tough for me, but it's just better for troubleshooting down the line if anything goes wrong with this. I'm gonna put on time lapse as usual. Enjoy the music. If you don't like the music, I don't really care, but you can leave me a comment and a thumbs down. That's a Bluefin manifold. These are Bluefin valves. The inlet is 1 inch. My supply is going to be 3/4. So we got fittings for that. Everything is PEX. So that's good to go. There's a temperature gauge that also came with it. That's this. I don't know what side that goes on. I think that's on the inlet. So I realized that you're probably not getting a good view of what I'm doing. So I'm gonna bring you in closer to kind of get an idea and explain a little bit about what's going on here. And keep in mind, I am not an expert. I am a professional homeowner. So, you know, kind of take what I'm gonna say as a grain of salt. I will probably not use the correct terminology, but I'm gonna try to explain it in layman's terms. So if you're watching this, you already know that this is the manifold. This is your supply. I'm choosing this as the supply. I don't know if that's correct or not. So the water comes in here, goes out through the tubes that are connected here, and comes back here. So from this point to that point, so from this point to that point, it's one pipe going upstairs in the floor, looping around, doing whatever. This is actually the pipe that we ran that day in the previous video with Danny. So up in here, if you can see, here are the valves. Just simple crimp connections, right? Sorry for the bad lighting. I'll try to adjust that, but nothing I can do right now. And I'm just basically splicing in, for those electricians out there, splicing in this valve. This is a vent, right? So you could open that, vent out from here. Air will come out, and then once you see some water coming out of there, you close the valve, and you're good. Somehow. Figure out how to close it. Yeah, there you go. You put the cap back on. Guess there's a bushing there, yeah. Oh. So the challenge that I'm having, and you obviously couldn't tell, but you gotta leave space in between here. You know, if a professional plumber came in, they would say this looks very scary and it's terrible and everything needs to be redone. You know, part of that is correct. It does look scary to them because they know how to do it perfectly. The thing is, the amount of money that they charge to do stuff like this, it's crazy. However, there's some merit to it because this will look 10 times better if you had a professional do it. They do it for a living. You get what you pay for. and so on. You know, for me, in my position, I can turn a wrench, go put screws in the wall. I know how to use the crimping tool. It's not that complicated. They've pretty much made it idiot proof, and they've actually removed the talent and the skilled craftsmen out of plumbing. You know, being able to sweat pipe back in the day was kind of an art form. It was pretty cool to see a guy do it and make it look nice and pretty. Now you got Pro Press and all the other things. The only thing that's left now is they've got to make, and they're starting to make electrical work idiot proof with Wago blocks and, you know, the plug-in connectors on light switches. I don't really mess with that kind of stuff, the new technology or the new devices that use those kind of connectors, mainly because an electrical problem doesn't show up until it's too late. You know, an electrical fire doesn't happen overnight, so it's your idea to roll the dice with those things. You know, heat, electricity, amps. Not sure if that made any sense, but with electrical work, you kind of have to be a little careful. You can't use these Wago blocks everywhere. Mike, you're welcome. A friend of mine, his apartment completely burnt down because somebody made an incorrect splice in a wire nut. And over time, and it happened like over 10 years, the wire heated up and cooled down, heated up and cooled down, and over that time, it finally came to a point where it heated up enough and became so loose that it set the building on fire. So that's why we don't mess around with Wago blocks and plug-in, snap-in light switches and outlets. Forget all that, in my opinion. So anyway, I'm gonna throw this back on time lapse. All right, I'm gonna cut the video here. I ran out of some fittings for the PEX, so I ran out of 1/2-inch PEX crimp fittings. I'll get those tomorrow and I'll finish it up, but I probably won't film it because this is pretty redundant. It's gonna be the same thing. It looks like a freaking mess up there. It is what it is. Anyway, I got a System 2000 boiler over there. There's, if you can see that vertical 3/4 inch copper pipe going up, that's coming over here, which is pretty nice. That's from something else. I don't know what that's from. I think it's the old heating system. Anyway, when I hook up the circulator pumps and start working on that, I'll start filming again, but that will be a different video. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'd really rather be milling.